Hi, gorgeous soul, and welcome to Spiritually Empowered Podcast. This show is your go-to place to learn all about your psychic intuitive gifts, explore and unveil taboo topics, and discover new ways to walk in power on this planet that is undergoing a massive transformation. We each came here with a higher calling. This podcast will catalyze you into yours. I love to simplify and refine ancient mystical teachings and practices, let you in on my most personal revelations and shifts, as well as bring on soul-inspiring guests to support you with embodying your power and saying yes to your destiny today. I am so excited to dive deep with you. Let's begin. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Spiritually Empowered Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's take a deep breath or two together just to land. And drop your shoulders, drop into your sits bones. I trust that this finds you well in your world. And today I have a very special guest with me in my home studio, and that is Rick Plautz. And so we're going to welcome him in with his bio. Thanks for being here. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Absolutely. Rick Plautz operates as the Bell Garden, a sound bath facilitator, and Usui Holy Fire Reiki master that holds sound baths of all kinds and sizes to regulate the nervous system. He uses a combination of curated music, quartz crystal bowls, and vocal toning to create a profoundly relaxing vibrational experience. He is also organizing Rest Fest, a celebration of wellness for the Richmond area, combining group classes in yoga, breathwork, and sound baths with speakers and presentations on topics including shadow work, plant medicine integration, and more. Rest Fest takes place May 4th at the Cardinal venue in Moseley, VA. And we're going to drop the links for you all in the show notes. Another breath in to begin the convo. Hello, welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Thanks for this.
Absolutely. We've got cacao here. We've got some notes happening here, and we're just going to drop in. So I always love to start with, what does being in your spiritual power mean to you?
Oh man. I just think that you're realizing that you are your own God and there's nothing outside that can grant you that power. So finding your own God within is spiritual power, in my opinion.
Yeah. Right. Not just taking what is given to you, but going on like a journey of your own to locate a part of yourself that is worthy, that is holy, godly.
Well, and also yes, but not having it be an external thing that we get to, or like that is given to us or someone else can grant it to us. It's already there. We just have to realize it. I think that's the real journey. And it's almost kind of, I guess that's spiritual bypassing, when it's kind of like thinking that once I get here, then I'll be enlightened kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, it's already there. You just deprogramming yourself and uncovering those layers is like the real work.
Right. I totally agree. That's very Zen. Have you looked into Zen? Zen is like, there's no path to walk. You already are that.
Yeah.
It's just a remembrance, right?
Oh, it's infuriating because it's so easy, but it seems so difficult. Yeah. I mean, I'm not there at all. It sounds great.
Yeah. Well, I think you are.
Okay.
Because it's always there.
I guess it's true. Yeah. I'm the one that says whether or not it's there or not. Yeah. I don't know. I just want to be, I think, but in that process too, is a lot of humility in acknowledging your faults and taking responsibility for them and accountability. Mm-hmm. So I think it's hard to know really when you've hit it.
Right.
Because there's so many things you've done.
Right.
To get there that, aren't pretty, basically.
Mm-hmm. Right. I'm just feeling like this, we're not going to reach perfection when we're on the human planet, right? And so it's like the two fold path, it's like both. You're already there. You already are what you are, and we're always evolving. So it's like, and that's shamanism, a foot in both worlds. Somehow I'm totally whole and amazing in all of my energies and faults and everything that I am. And I'm also on a path of refinement. So it sounds like you feel that you're there and you're not, right? So it's like both. Great.
Yeah.
Love that. Great. What happens when we focus too much on going somewhere? Like when we miss, it's forgetfulness. When we forget that we already are this beautiful, godly essence, and we go on this journey, and it's like we're always outside of us trying to get somewhere. What is life like? Like, how is that?
How's life
Talk
like
to me about
that?
that.
Oh God, it's the hamster wheel.
Right. Talk to us about that. Yeah.
It's a mess. It's never feeling good enough and never being able to fully recover from everything or fully integrate experiences or feel your feelings, like constantly running either to the next thing or away from something else, like it's this constant movement. And then like, I think it's a hamster wheel because you're truly not going anywhere anyway. And it just makes you feel like you're doing something, but you're not, and I think, and it happens a lot, I think, in the spiritual community too, where it's like, if I have my crystals and my morning ritual and my yoga, like I'm okay, I'm enough, and like people can get stuck in overdoing those things too, thinking that it's like a sense of self-care, but it's also like just as stressful as anything else.
Yes. Right. That reminds me of, the power is not in the oracle deck. The power is not in the sage. I mean, it is, and it's really not, because our psyche gets reflected into the deck of cards, right? We have this direct access point to what we are seeking, and these things are tools. And I even heard, I feel like you'll appreciate this, being like a sound healer and having all of your tools. My teacher, Alberto Villoldo, would say, harnessing tools and specifically shamanic energy medicine sessions is great. And then you grow your own medicine. It's like probably what you learn in Reiki. You sort of do it this way. And then in the moment when you're with a client, all of that falls away and you are one with your divine, listening and intuiting. And then the way that I have shifted in my energy sessions now, it's like, if I don't have a rattle, we're doing it. If I don't have we're doing it no matter what. Like I just move stuff with my fingers and snap and talk. And it's like, it's realizing that the tools are just helpful. They're not necessary.
Yeah. Oh man. And you can get, again, sucked into having all the best tools to make, and it becomes a crutch. Right. It becomes a way to take away from, again, your own essence that really is the true power.
Right.
I think like when I do Reiki and sound baths, like, I'm a vessel for something else to come through. And so like stepping away from my own stuff is really important. Yeah. But there's also like a dance to that too. You don't lose control of your body or anything that you're doing. It becomes, you're like imbued with another sense that is guiding, but you can still have free will in that too. Right. So that sense of surrender, but also being guided is, another kind of dance, like you're saying, with the shaman and enlightenment. What was that thing you did just now? The two paths of here and there, honoring what's here and there, and then being on a path of evolution. Yeah, like you are receiving information, and you're also still have the ability to not act on it, but so it becomes a dance where, you're not fully possessed, but you have another thing that's kind of guiding. Right. And you still have the choice of whether or not you want to act on it. Right. That just makes me think of the people who are, I think it's called trans channeling, which they are possessed in a sense. Like and we always have like our consciousness, but there's different levels of channeling energy that involve allowing things totally into your body. And I'm like, no, this is my body. Like, and that's like my whole Winged Alchemy life's legacy. A big part of that is psychic empowerment and choosing which doors you have open. Because I don't know if you've noticed this with Reiki,
I used to be setting up for a session and I'd be getting information the night before about the person. And I thought that was so interesting. And that was one of my first experiences with setting boundaries. Like, I don't need to know this. Like, opening it up, it's open. Closing it down, it's closed. And like, let them walk out and they're the golden Buddha. They got it.
Nice.
So I'm not like kind of thinking about it or, dwelling on it. Like, as an energy practitioner, tell us about that, how you open yourself up, and then what are your ways that you sort of release the client or release the people in your sound sessions?
I make sure that the way I do it is I have crystals and I don't have a certain way that I set them up. It's just the practice of assembling them into like this kind of grid pattern. Whatever order that they show up in doesn't really matter for me. It's the process of placing them in the grid and then setting up like the circle in the room and opening up the channel in that process. So that's my ritual for energy sessions. So like when I set that up, I'm opening the channel. Like I'm very intentional about, as I'm setting each crystal in a little grid, I'm saying the prayer and then being intentional about disassembling the grid when I'm done. Like that's my process at least. And again, like there's no rules. That's the best part.
Right.
As long as you're intentional about it. Right. And also I think you have to believe that it's working for it to work. Yes. Like that's the really funny part.
Right.
That's really what magic is. It's like magic only works when you believe that it works. Nice. And then it becomes magic.
That's it. Absolutely. Beautiful. I remember my teacher sharing, like, if you're in a session with somebody and your intention is to spin the chakra clockwise, but your hand is going the other way, it's the intention that counts.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You got it. That's it.
And if you like don't write the symbols right in a Reiki session,
right, exactly.
They'll be fixed.
You
still have the intention of like calling it in,
Right.
And that was a big thing for me for a while, was like feeling like I was failing by not doing everything perfect. And that's just another like fallacy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then allowing it to be messy opens other things up to come in that you never would allow. And I think that's great.
Because control or like try so hard, you're rigid. Yeah. Which keeps the spontaneity. And we're going to talk about your astrology because that's all like you're talking to me about magic and believing. That's so sad. So let's drop Rick's astrology. Is that cool with you?
Well, hold on. One more thing I want to say. Okay. But yes, because you're right. Like I was thinking about being rigid was like very masculine thing. Because I was thinking about when I was training for like 1 and 2 level, I kept saying like, I'm going to Reiki so hard. I'm going to Reiki so hard.
I hear you.
And like pushing it. And it was all super masculine stuff. And so my teacher was like, you have to be able to allow this to happen. Like it comes from the bottom up, not from like the top down. And when I was doing the master training, like I said that story. And so that became like our joke for the whole thing was like, we're going to Reiki so hard. And you can't like, it's like, that's the definition of the wrong way to do any kind of this practice because, and not that masculine energy is bad for that. Right. It's just that it's allowing the feminine energy really to come through. I think that's important to allow. Yeah. And so I learned that a lot, tapping into the feminine side to have those things come up, which from the way I look at it, the body is feminine and the mind is masculine. And the marriage between the mind and the body is like the real twin flame relationship that we have to figure out. So understanding that our body has its own dreams and character and personality and like consciousness, but it doesn't speak in the way that the mind does. We have to find ways to understand that. For men, at least, like that's tapping into the feminine side. And inside of that, inside the body, inside the feminine is really where all the psychic powers come from, I feel like. And like the intuitive powers and harnessing emotion and experiencing emotion is all inside the feminine. Right. Do you feel like that's true? Totally. That's my theory.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. And I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to talk about being a masculine presence on the planet and opening up in this oracle way. That's really beautiful. And I want to elevate that and hear more about your story with that. I think it's beautiful. I feel like the body is the unconscious. The body never lies, right? If you tell somebody I love you, your body reacts. You freak out a little bit. Your heart's racing. We have sensation through the body.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the body is the unconscious, and the conscious mind is like I love studying the two halves of the whole. The conscious mind is like 5% of the experience. Because if you study the consciousness, and it's potent and it's necessary, and we only need that much probably because it's direct. Like, I feel like the masculine energy is literally erect. It's a tall spine, and it's like a seated meditation. I always tell people, if you want to grow your inner masculine, which is your ability to feel safe, like that's the word as a feminine being that comes to mind, and held, seated meditation. And I'm sure you can share on this too, about how so much of spiritual practice is about elevation upwards, right? That erect path upwards through the chakras. And if you look at Tantra, which I've studied with Sean Roop and different teachers, the feminine path of awakening, if you're a dominant feminine being, is spiraling down. And we do both, right? Let's go up and grow up. And that's why shamanism brings us back down to earth so we can receive and like settle.
Interesting. Yeah, I love that. Man, I hadn't thought about that. Just because, like, I feel like I'm just starting to understand what my feminine power is. And then it's like, here's a radical concept. Awakening the goddess within men. Like, how does that work?
Love that.
I mean, what does that look like?
Yes.
And it just sounds like almost impossible right now, just because of the societal constraints men are put under.
Right.
And they also engage in, but like, anyway, just like, you're right. The idea of spiraling down is like a behavior, I guess you could say, of the feminine energy, because you need both. Absolutely. And so I guess the other side of finding the goddess in men is like, how do you find the God in you? Absolutely. Isn't like the male God? Like, what is your process? Right. How do you harness the masculine in your life? Ooh.
One way I do it, I feel like the masculine is the transcendent aspect, which is this witness. It's like Shiva. It's like, because as a woman, when I'm like with a romantic partner, that's a male, this is just my experience. Everybody gets to dance with this in their unique way, gender, no gender. Like, this is such a fluid thing that we get to play with on this planet. And when I'm with the masculine energy, that's my partner, I really feel like it just comes down to being like witness. Like, I see you, like the space is secure. And that can literally be putting locks on the windows. Like, I will secure your space so that you can flower open. Cool. It is safety, it's security, and it's protection, just for me personally. So a way that I do that with myself is I hold space for myself. So I see that I'm not my emotions, I'm the witness. So I'll say, Ash, I'm going to be with you all day today. I'm speaking into my emotional body. Just out loud. I just did it today. I am going to be with you all day. I'm so proud of you. You're so incredible. I will speak into my body. And because your organs hear you, first of all, your body hears what you say to it.
Nice.
Oh, digestion, you're rocking it. So proud of you. Wow. Body receives. So one way I do that is to speak into myself, to say, I got you. I'm with you 100%. I know. Yeah, that's challenging. I'm here with you. So it's this security guard. It's like this loving, securing energy. And then another way I build that masculine, like that God energy, is working out. So awesome and important. I love doing that. Just running around and doing some strengthening things. The last thing I'll say about that is, what a beautiful question. Thank you for that. Is seated meditation.
Cool.
Because you're practicing witnessing consciousness. Because the feminine's in it. She's all up in it. Like, so in the emotions and the brain of a female, literally, we're different, right? The brain for a feminine being, for a woman, it talks the left and the right side, blink back and forth, but masculine brains have a more singular focus. So we're kind of doing this back and forth. So yeah, seated meditation, I am a witness to you.
That's
to
cool.
All of you, right? Tell me about the way that you invoke, or feel free to reflect on that. And then I want to hear your side of things with that.
Dancing. That's a big one for me.
Great.
For like getting in touch with the feminine for me.
Right.
It's funny, like you say, your mind can switch back and forth, and masculine's minds are supposed to be like singular, but mine's a mess. So like, but that's not a masculine thing. I think it's just that gets into, I think, diet and parasites and things like that.
Sure.
Honestly,
Totally.
which we can table for later. But
Sure. Sure.
No, I mean, I can't do, which is why I got into sound baths, because I can't do like seated meditation. I get to like, I can't get in. I mean, that's not true. I could be better about practicing it more. And I know like that's the process. Like you can't just sit down and be good at it immediately. But I found that using sound in a focused way was a way easier way to get into that meditation mindset. But yeah, like for my feminine, I had this really amazing, I don't know if this matters, like talking about psychedelics. Do you care?
Go for it. Podcast? Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Share whatever comes to heart, for sure.
I had this really amazing ayahuasca experience where I went in with a certain intention, and then the medicine like gave me something else. And over the course of the 3 nights, it became this 3-act story, really. And it was about, like what I just said before, like the mind and the body are actually the first sacred union, is what the way it was told to me, you know? So that before you're born, a body is paired with a mind, and you come into the world together, and literally till death do you part. You have to figure this out, you know? And as a marriage, from my personal marriage, like that was, the first night was that kind of idea as the seed. And the second night was like, okay, you've been a dick as a husband to your body, which is your wife. And to the point where your body has given up trying to tell you that it's unhappy, and then became a meat suit for the mind, really, which is like always kind of annoys me when people say that. That's like just my meat suit. It's like, no, it's not. But you've made it that way because of like ignoring it, you know? And so the second night for me was, it became like a surprise couples retreat intervention, basically like couples therapy. Oh my gosh. You know? And I was sitting there like, and that's the amazing thing about ayahuasca is like, it doesn't do it in a way that makes you feel bad about yourself. It shows in this very beautiful, like compassionate way of like, this is what's happening, you know? And so I realized like, I don't know if you know those sitcoms, like the Kevin James sitcoms, like where, I know they're not very good. I don't watch them either, but like, it's like basically this like doofy guy, and then this like goddess of a woman wife, and she's just like the smart one, and he's like this kind of idiot, and doesn't. It's just like it's more of like the comedy about him being dumb, and then like her having to put up with it. And it was like, that's how it was presented to me. It was like, this is what's happening. Like you're the doofy guy, and you have this goddess of a woman that is married to you, and you've totally forgotten that she exists. You know, like and this sense of a marriage that has fallen apart, but because she loves this union so much, she's not going to give up on it, you know? Right. And so it was this really beautiful moment of like, okay, I realized I've been a dick a lot, and I'm just here to listen to you, and what do you want to do, you know? And then kind of rebuilding that relationship over that second night of just kind of understanding like, here's how I talk to you, here's how the body communicates, kind of thing. Like you might not understand what I'm saying because the way you communicate is different than the way I communicate. So like finding like the general communication middle ground was like this first step, you know? And it was like this beautiful, like literally couples therapy of like, okay, I'm here to listen. Like what do you want to do? Like what do you want, you know? And it was really beautiful and like sad, but in a really cathartic way. Right. And the third night was like a couples retreat. So it went from like idea to couples therapy, and the third night was couples retreat. And so it was like the first part was like, you know, I like the medicine kicks in and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, here we are, couples retreat. Like, what do you want to do? And she was like, I want you to do 10 push-ups right now in the ceremony. And I was like, I don't know about that, actually.
But anything but that.
And she was like, motherfucker, if you want to do, like, she got pissed at me. If you want to do this is what I want you to do.
Testing your level of commitment.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Wow.
And the way that ceremonies work is you're just in, like, you're packed like sardines, basically.
Yeah.
It's not, you can't move around. So I was trying to be like, I don't know if you can do that because it's like, and she's like, shut up. I want to do this. And so I had to figure out a way to get out of the ceremony room and go off to an open space.
Yeah.
And
great.
And then after that, like, I did the push-ups. She wanted burpees. And then she became this, like, she reminded me of, like, Jillian from The Biggest Loser back in the day. Like, she was, like, this badass, like, physical trainer. And I never knew, you know? And it was this, I was like, wow, this is hot. Like, this is awesome. I'm married to, like, a goddess. And so I did the exercises that she wanted me to. And then we started to like do these like kind of yoga moves together. And it became this dance, you know, again, like I was saying before, it was surrender to this energy, but also I knew that I could stop doing it, but I didn't want to. Like this was our date. This was our way to reconnect, you know, and it was this beautiful physical experience. And she opened herself up to me. And it felt like, so since then, I've wanted to really just improve on the relationship, you know? Yeah. And the ways that I mess it up is by, you know, eating poorly or like doing drugs or like alcohol, that kind of stuff. But like also understanding too, like that I can like cut down on those things and then be rewarded in other ways by her like opening up to me, you know, her meaning my body and showing these new like powers that I never knew I had. Yeah. It's a fascinating, it's a true relationship. Yes. And so understanding like, and that's what I realized too, like that's just unique. Like that's just my feminine power.
Yeah. Right.
And dancing is the way that she likes to get crazy. Love it. Beautiful. So I think that's what I was talking about, kind of like realizing letting men find the goddess in themselves is really like finding a way for them to connect with their bodies in the ways that their bodies want to be able to be expressed. And I think that's really, and then through that process, like men can discover their feminine side in a way that they don't have to feel dumb about, which is already unfortunate, but like there has to be like a safe way and like a welcoming and in a way that's like exciting and fun to discover that. Yeah. I feel like forever, for decades or centuries maybe, discovering your feminine side, quote unquote, for men is considered weak and like disempowering or emasculating. And it doesn't need to be. Yeah. It's the opposite.
Right. Right. Mic drop. What a beautiful share. What a beautiful share. Yes, yes, yes. I'm going to take a breath on that. I love that you had that experience where you got to evolve with the relationship with your body, because I forgot where I heard this, but how you treat your body is how you treat the earth. So if we look around what's happening on the planet, we're pillaging and trigger warning, we're raping the earth. Right. And so our relationship to flesh and how we treat this temple is a reflection of how we treat the earth. And I used to throw trash bags out of my car window. Like I used to smoke cigarettes and toss that out. So I had to move on from that and forgive that, right? Because I was asleep. I was asleep to this, you know, to the power in this. Yeah. So I feel like a part of this whole thing has got to be this forgiveness. Like, whoa, you know, being gentle, a gentleness. And I love that you shared, you're listening to how the body speaks to you in that unique way. And even in like psychology with Freud and Carl Jung, I forgot which one is which, but the anima and the animus, like the feminine beings enter masculine and the masculine beings enter feminine, and it shows up in the dream world. There's just like this whole thing. but also share that I did a marriage ceremony. I took a Tantra course with this beautiful person, Nadine Lee, and did this marriage ceremony for myself and even got a ring. This is the ring I gave my inner feminine. And I had vows and I put flowers out. And when I first started doing this, there was like slapping, because I'm very like psychic and visual. So when I first started like checking in, what are these energies doing? Because it's always going to be reflected in our relationships, right? To a degree, to a large degree. So I started looking into that and kind of letting them like play that out a little bit. It sounds like similar to how you were witnessing this healing for yourself. It's beautiful. I love that. So I'd love to hear, Rick, your story about how did you, because you weren't always this way, right? Of listening to the body and the feminine essence and being this like, you know, having this oracle about you with your healing sessions and your sound sessions, yet also I'm assuming you hold like a masculine pole, right? That's like your dominant essence. How has that, you know, what was your life like growing up and how did you get here?
Oh man.
Oh man.
We're already sitting down. No, that's so funny. Okay. So I grew up in Utah, not Mormon. And I have to always say that when I say that I grew up in Utah, but like, it's kind of funny. Like, I don't remember a lot. I can think about it and like remember things, but, I really, as far as like coming to be where I am right now, inside wellness and like in healing and sound baths and everything like that, started when I started researching the Mayan calendar in like 2007. So, you know, I had I feel like it's somewhat typical like awakening story where like you're searching for truth and then you like go down these rabbit holes and then the conspiracy theories end up happening all the time. And then you have a dark night of the soul and then you realize everything's a lie and you get really angry and then you have to like crawl yourself out of that. So I did all that between like 2007 and I would say like 2014, I guess. Cause like, yeah, I had this, so the Mayan calendar was like my thing that I was like, man, this is really fascinating. Just real quick recap. The Mayan calendar was, you know, it was a calendar, but it was a very fascinating piece of astronomy, really, for like this ancient civilization, because they didn't like start a calendar and say, okay, today's day 0 and we're going to start from here like we did with Jesus. Like they were like, oh, we're in the middle of this astronomical cycle that's actually 13,000 years long. And how, like, again, can't explain how they knew this, but they were able to figure out parts of the galaxy and the solar system and understand our place within it, and then see these large thousands of year cycles. And so they didn't start at day 0. They started like, they're like, oh, we're in the middle of some cycle and then it's gonna end on this certain date, which became December 21st, 2012. Right. Yes. So like they were obviously long gone when that date actually happened. But the idea of this, you know, certain date, you know, was always like really fascinating. And then I came across alien channeled texts. And so I went off on like an alien tangent and then like JFK, 9/11, like all the hits on YouTube back in the day. So, that led me into the like, kind of like dark night of the soul where I was like, it's all a lie. We're all being lied to, blah, 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 typical stuff. But then after that, it was like, actually, I got to be a really good critical thinker and look at stuff and be like, okay, this might be true. Right. But like, can we figure other things out about it? Can we like cross-reference it? So like, I'm really glad I didn't come up and have that awakening like during like the QAnon phase, because I easily could have been sucked into that, I think, those types of conspiracy theories. But it allowed me to be a really good critical thinker. But then I also like, after that, I was like, well, what do I really believe in? Like, what do I want to do? Like, what lights me up, you know? And that became a years and years long process, again, of like not finding something, just discovering what I was already inside me and just taking the layers off, you know? So I went to my first like Reiki session in 2015. And that was fascinating. And I just had always been drawn to stuff like that. And I was like, on this kind of healing journey for years as a hobby. And then I had this really fascinating, like, spiritual call, I guess you could say. It was like 2015, and I was mowing the lawn. And I just got this, like, it was like this transmission into my head of like, you need to open up a church. Like, you need to start a church.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't know, like scared, And then they were like, whatever the message was like, you can't do it right now. You have to be divorced first before you can do this. And I was married at the time. And so, like, it was just this fascinating, like, it felt like those things you read about in the Bible of like, and I was like, I had been affected emotionally. Like, my whole outlook had changed, like, in an afternoon. And I had this kind of like buzz about me that was like, I never felt before. So it did feel like something that was outside of like what I normally think of, like it hit me. I don't know what, I still haven't bought a church yet. So like, and that was like almost 10 years ago. But the idea of like that being planted in my head and then realizing that I had to be divorced to get there. And like, now I've been divorced for 7 years, and like I can see, I can start to see what's happening, like going towards that. It was really fascinating. So yeah, I think since like this 2007 feels like the beginning. And then here we are, however many years later, 17 years later, I'm still on that process of unpacking those layers.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So you're describing like the hero's journey, the heroine's journey of like the Parsifal. You ever heard that story in the Holy Grail, where it's like he has to, and I just remember this point in that story where he was standing at the edge of the forest. He felt the call. Thank you for sharing that, by the way, Rick. That was a beautiful story.
Thanks.
Yeah. He was standing at the edge of the forest. So he got a call to leave, and I'm going to totally paraphrase with my own language things, but he left his mother's house and then was at the edge of the dark forest. And he knew that he had to take off his mother's garments, which was like taking off his comfort zone, taking off what was familiar. So he was at the edge of a dark forest, take off what's familiar and walk in. And there was this moment where it was like he had the opportunity to awaken through the path of love and relationships. And he said no to that. He actually chose the warrior path of like bloodshed. So there's like, and I don't really have an end to the story with that other than he got to where he needed to go. It's like, who do we serve? Who does the Grail serve? What is all of this in service to? Like clarifying that. It sounds like you went on that journey. What do I believe? Which I feel like is the mystic path. The mystic is not finished, or the mystic is not content with what's handed to them. The mystic is under the night sky asking the stars the meaning of life. The mystic goes on a quest. And my teacher would say the question is the quest. It's enough. You're going to be led. We don't have to have it all here and now. That's not how the human world works. Right?
Awesome.
There's a forgetfulness. And it's like we have so much knowing that we know when we're going to take our last breath. And when I sat with ayahuasca, I wanted to know two things. Who am I going to date next? And what's my next career move? The ego stuff, right? Yeah. I love it. I love my ego. I bottle feed the ego. That's kind of what I do with that. Just love on it. And in that journey, I actually didn't allow myself to see that. This was many years ago. And my community knows I'm a sober person, so I don't do a lot with plant medicine. I really am about harnessing the own body's abilities to do that.
Yeah.
Yet I did have a wild journey there. And it is about the unknown. It is about not knowing. It is about going on the journey, right? And sometimes we actually keep secrets from ourselves in this like shamanic perspective, because how do we be authentic if we know everything?
Yeah.
There's a playfulness. There's a fun. Anything you want to add to that? Because I want to bring it back to Sagittarius and your energy.
Okay, yeah, let's get there. No, I just think my first ayahuasca experience was kind of like that. It was like, basically, the medicine was like, you're not ready for all this, so we're gonna have a good time, and then come back when you're ready, And I thought like I had done all the reading and like all this kind of stuff, and it was like, no, I just came with an expectation that I was gonna throw up a bunch and like poop myself, and none of that happened. And it was because I showed up with an expectation. It was just kind of, it was fascinating to like show up with like ego stuff and then just get shown like that I was not ready. That was it though. Yeah.
Interesting. Right. The truth shall be revealed to those who are willing. That's the path, is you value truth over comfort. You know, it's a devotion. It's like a bhakti. It's like a heart, love, devotion to truth. That's just how I identify. It's like I'm willing to see the truth. And me being like a Piscean person, so many different placements in Pisces, a way that I access truth is by reflection of others.
Okay.
Yeah. So cool. Because of the Pisces and the 12th house, and I have what's called what's the word? A direct chart. I can't think of the word right now. It's okay. But it's when anytime your rising sign is Aries, you have, it's called a natural chart, where every house placement aligns with the house ruler. So I'm double trouble for each of my placements. So I have Pisces in the 12th house of Pisces. So there's a clarity there because it's in its energy. Like it's even more expressed. And the 12th house rules addictions, the spirit traveling, the spirit world. And so it's kind of this like dark mirror of what's in there. And so having people in my life, we're tribal people. I love my people, to like reflect back. It's really beautiful. It's really symbiotic for that Pisces energy. And for all of us, I'll say, having the reflections of other people is beautiful. So I met Rick.
Speaking of Pisces.
Oh,
Anyway, no, that's it. No, we're going to the chart now, right?
Your chart.
Yeah.
So I met Rick a couple weeks ago, I believe it was, and we met up for a cup of tea, cup of coffee to talk about his beautiful Rest Fest, and which I'm teaching at, which I'm super excited. And my workshop or play shop or presentation is on Unmask Your Shadow to Become Whole. So I'm really excited about that. We'll give you more details about that. All the links about that beautiful day-long event is going to be in the show notes, so check that out. But as we were sitting there, I was like, what are your signs? And he and I share the exact 3 signs in different ways. So he is a sun in Sag. I have a photographic memory with signs, so I will never forget your signs. Okay. I hope you know that. Like I have a photographic memory with people's zodiacs. So his sun is in Sagittarius, his moon is in Aries, his rising is Pisces. My sun is Pisces, my moon is Sagittarius, and my rising is Aries. Wow. So we got a little flippy flop happening. So we're talking about magic. We're talking about aliens. We're talking about conspiracies. That's really, it's a passion. So if you mix those energies together, one thing I'll say about that, just from my own experience, is where's the off button?
I don't know.
When you have Sag, Pisces, and Aries says, come on, give it to me. Work out, go, move, go harder, go. Yeah. I'm going to lead. I'm going to serve. I'm going to empower. It's headstrong.
Reiki so hard.
It's frontline. Let me go, right?
Yeah.
Let me work out. It needs to move through the body because it has a lot of primal, raw energy. Especially if the moon, my friend, is in Aries. Any fire moon can have a buildup of chi. Mm-hmm. And when it's not expressed and honored and released physically, because fire, especially Aries, is a physical sign. Mm-hmm. It's like that raw, primal Martian energy. It can weigh us down. Mm-hmm. We don't sleep as well. We can spin. So it's exerting your energy, dumping out your energy every day for that fire placements is really powerful. Mm. And so with those 3 energies, where's the off button? Because Pisces is all the way, let's go, let me submerge. Who's the boundary? Where's the boundary? Where am I? Who am I? Yes, spirit, God, unconditional love. And then Sag is yes, more. And then Aries is go harder. God. And that's my life. So I'm studying late at night, shamanic astrology. I'm at my computer at midnight last night, and I had this download. I'm I'm going to become a shamanic astrologer, and I'm looking all this stuff up.
Oh, no. So you haven't slept.
I slept. No. I slept in. I'm usually up till midnight anyway. I'm a bit of a night owl. But yeah, where's the off button?
Oh my God. Good question. I don't know. Could you tell me? You know more about my chart than I do.
I only know your top 3. If you tell me your Mars and Venus, we can get a little deeper. But yeah, those 3 are telling.
It does explain a lot.
Right.
That's all I can say.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I was sharing at the coffee shop, like the moon is what you need. Like if you're going to fill your cup, go to your moon. You know, so my cup is filled with Sagittarius. Like I said, the open road, adventure, nature. And what fills my cup is getting turned on about spiritual studies. Like that fills me up in many ways, right? But tuning into, all right, where's the off button? Like that is so key. And then for like moon and Sag, all right, what fills you up? Honesty. You know, Aries is like, I love Aries because guess what? It's playful. It's blunt. It wants you to say it how it is.
Yeah.
It's like, don't play with the fluffy fluff. Tell me how you feel.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I hate beating around the bush. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Yes. Just tell me how it is.
Right.
And it's like, it's so funny how it offends people sometimes. To like, they're trying to be all delicate. And just like, no, it's like this, right? And like, oh, yeah, okay, I guess so. Like,
yes.
Yeah, it really annoys me. And then I guess it's like, well, someone else was telling me too, Aries are the types of people that they'll go and do something without knowing how it's going to be finished, but they'll just like jump in and do it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which again is rest fest to a T. I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah. But I had the idea, and I think it's great, and I want to keep going. Yes. But there is that improvisational part that I love a lot too.
Right.
And sometimes it gets, annoying. What's funny too is like with human design, I'm a manifesting generator. Okay. So like, I'm supposed to just have the ideas.
Okay.
And then like that's what the many gens do. They have the ideas. Right. They're the antennas that receive the things, and then they help to visualize them, and then someone else is supposed to do them.
Okay.
Like that's what's supposed to happen, you know. Like so, I'm not good at finishing stuff. I'm just good at like receiving them and explaining them, and having someone else do it. And it's just like this is the first time, not the first time, but like this for Rest Fest for me is like this idea of like I have to complete this.
Right.
I made it my own thing to complete,
right.
and it freaks me out a lot. But I think it's going to be okay. I feel really good about it.
Right. I love that. That's beautiful.
Do you feel that way too? Like you jump into stuff without knowing the end?
Yes. And I really used to honestly think, Rick, that I was some ethereal mermaid who just floated off into the ethers. But the more I just turned 30, and what I've learned about myself these last couple years is that I actually really am more grounded than I ever gave myself credit for. Like I pride myself in being commitment, like follow through. Like I'm really, and I see this with my membership souls and how I would be doing God a disservice if I didn't follow through and complete a project. Like for my poetry book, like I turned it into a real book. It's like my feminine wrote the book, and then I had to get the step-by-step linear process of how do I make this thing into an actual book. And I'm telling you, it was not comfortable because the follow through and the commitment can bring, this is so alive for me right now. It brings up sensations in the body. Right. And that's why I woke up today. My body has so many sensations. So I go and move it and actually expand my capacity to be with discomfort. And I like to call it sexy tension. Like, ooh, this is important. I'm getting activated with this. How can I not tell a story about the sensations, but actually stay devoted in the sensation? Because too many people aren't bringing the dream into matter. And I'm a life path number 4. I'm a builder somehow. I'm like this ethereal mermaid energy and this like builder of colosseums and structures and temples. So I feel like it's really important.
Okay.
Yeah.
To finish.
Totally. Right. And I love what you said about, here's my natural gifting and my natural talent. And we're meant to be tribal. We're meant to support each other, right? You come in as this tech person. I'm like, help. And now we got Rick's awesome podcast mic set up. And so we are a team. It's meant to be that way. So in that, I love that you sort of landed into your genius. So tell us more about the Gene Keys, because I have that on my notes. Tell us more about, if you want to go into that or share more about human design.
Well, it is. Okay. Well, just real quick, like, are you good on time?
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm fine.
Yeah, we can go until, we're about 7 more minutes. Yeah, 5 or 6 more minutes. So do you want to go into that, or would you rather talk about what you do in the world? You want to go into that and share about how...
What I do?
Yeah, how you support others and how we can find you. And what else would you like to share? What feels...
Well, no, let's talk about Rest Fest, because I think it's helpful. It's more about the idea that, and I just want to see, because from your experience too, I see a lot of people doing amazing stuff in Richmond. And that was the whole idea behind this, is like, there's, for some reason, and I don't know if it's just Richmond or something else, but like, for the size of this city, there's like a ton of stuff happening. There's like so many people doing really amazing, truly authentic healing things for everybody else, I think, for the size of the city. So my only thing was, it's like, it happens in silos, it happens through word of mouth, happens through Instagram. You have to kind of be in the know to know what's happening. And so the idea for me about Rest Fest was like, we should get them all together and make it a day where people can exhibit what they're doing. People can see what is out there, and other people can network. And it's like an expo where you're seeing group classes, you're seeing talks like yours, and like you're participating. And it's like also just really restorative in general. Like it's kind of a festival retreat in a sense, or like, is the way I describe it, because I want it to be really restorative and comforting, but also a way to connect with people that are like you, and then also people that, like, healers can connect with other healers. Like, it's a networking event for those people, but also a way to find community for people that are looking for it. Because, like, for me, I did this sound bath recently for these 2 ladies in the suburbs, and they were basically going through their own awakening by themselves in the suburbs where there's no support, and they didn't know where to go or who to talk to, and they just happened to look up like sound bath on Google, and they found me. You know, so like, they don't, like, I'm thinking about those people for like stuff like this, where it's like they don't know where to go, and there's so much out there, and then people are going through these awakenings by themselves all over the place. And I think whether it's Richmond in general or just the country or the world, like, there's a lot of a collective awakening happening and nowhere to really go, it seems like. So what have you seen in the community of what you're doing? Yeah,
I would totally agree. I feel like the age of Pisces was about, one of the shadows of the age of Pisces is the lone wolf, is going at it alone. That's the whole reason, one of the main reasons why I created the Winged Alchemy membership. You can be in the comfort of your home and click into a church for mystics, a place to go for change makers, where you get to expand your psychic gifts. Who's teaching psychic development these days, right?
Yeah, right.
I noticed these needs of myself, and I wanted to share that with others. So I couldn't agree more. We are meant to be in community. We're in these box houses. We're on these box streets. It's box thinking. Box thinking is the masculine thinking, and it's amazing. I love it. And what about the circles? I want a circle house. Right? Literally, if you spend time with more circles, you'll think differently. Yeah. So again, like this balancing. And another thing I feel like with the age of Pisces was guruing others. And I'm not talking down about any gurus or any spiritual teachers, but if we blindly follow anybody, that's a no. Yeah. I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it. Yeah. Because these people that hold this holier than thou, and I talk about this a lot. If you know my podcast, you know this comes up frequently because I'm so passionate about it. Community is about everybody bringing their own energy, taking responsibility for what they have going on, and then being together as like one unit. Yeah. A circle means there's no hierarchy. Yeah. So I love that you've created something. And however I can be of support to you and your journey, let me know. I'm excited. I'm excited to teach. You did it all. I'm excited. What? You're doing it. Yeah. Great. Okay, great. Go on, sorry. Perfect. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I'm bringing my music. I'll bring my awakening music. We'll do some voice healing and sound healing, and we'll have the schedule posted. You're going to have everything you need if you want to attend, my love, the beautiful listeners today. And if you are not in Richmond and you want to travel in, then go for it.
May 4th.
May
Saturday.
4th.
That's a good, I think it's a good way to wrap it up.
Yeah. Great. Is there anything else? I just want to ask, because I'm in no rush here. We got time.
Okay.
What would you say, Rick, to the masculine energy in everybody? Because you really stand out in the path that you're on in moving beyond this like rigid, shame-ridden, like whatever the masculine holds and was taught. What would you say to the masculine energy right now on the planet?
Oof, that's awesome. I don't know. I think there's a place definitely for you.
Yeah.
After you find the balance with the feminine. I think there's like, I wish I could have spent another hour on talking about Barbie, that movie.
Oh, I haven't
like,
seen it yet.
Oh my God. Talk about the masculine and the feminine awakening. Like, this movie's all about that. Wow. It's fascinating. And like, the thing about the masculine and men is like, they feel like, we feel like, I felt like there was no place for us in the society because women have such a special gift in providing life and continuing on the civilization. It's almost like in the face of that ability and that power, what can men offer besides like, you know, their part in the life-giving process? But like, I think we felt lost in understanding our place in the dynamic because of how amazing and powerful the feminine is. I think we're just understanding that now, like in the age of Aquarius, letting the feminine power come back into power. So, because my sound baths, my experience in wellness, personally in Richmond, vast majority of women coming to my classes, you know, so like 90% of my audience are women. And I've realized it's a truly amazing responsibility and humbling to be that kind of like masculine presence in their lives that lets them be vulnerable, right? And like release, you know. So I think for the masculine, your place is to help protect the feminine and let them be vulnerable. And I just started to realize that recently, like it's a really humbling and heartwarming responsibility and role to just be the protector, to be there to provide the space so that the feminine can unwind. And I think for whatever centuries, I guess, however long the patriarchy's been in charge, like women haven't been able to do that. And as women and the feminine starts to become more prominent, women can start to unravel in a safe, not like unravel, but like unwind, unclench, right? And men can be there to catch them. And I think men want that. Like men want a role that's very masculine. Like, give me a thing to do. Right. I'll do it. Right. You know, like, that's why like fixing the bathroom sink is like the shit. It's awesome. It's really fun because I'm like, oh, I have a purpose. And your role as the masculine is to be that like safe, protective sphere for the feminine to unwind. And it's, you know, but you have to understand your own feminine to do that too. So to understand your own feminine is the connection to your feminine partner, you know, or not to say it's male or female, just like allowing your feminine out and empowering it in your own self as a man allows you to communicate and connect with the feminine in somebody else, whether that person's male or female.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I could feel it, this like settling, because you're a speaker for the masculine energy right now. So I can feel in my essence, like, and my tantric teacher, Sean Roop, was like, yes, be feeling settled. That's it. Like literally relaxing. And I can feel that as you're talking. So thank you so much for offering that wisdom and for being like a leader on this path of embracing that holy union. I could talk forever about this holy union, and it's just so beautiful. It's something I love, and it's on my altar. And so thank you for bringing your own passion of that into this space. Rick, beautiful. Tell us how people can find you in the world.
It's thebell.garden is the best way. So like the website's thebell.garden, not .com, just thebell.garden. Same with Instagram and TikTok, even though I'm not great at that. But yeah, that's really it.
Great. Yeah.
Restfest, same thing. rvarestfest.com.
Great.
May 4th. Yeah. Thank you so much for this.
You're welcome. Such a beautiful share. And thank you, beautiful listeners. All of the links are going to be in the show notes. Come out on May 4th. If you're local or want to drive in, come hang out with me. Let's heal together. Let's rise together. Let's be in sacred community. Step into the winged alchemy world. Step into the Bell Garden world. And we're just going to make magic. Thank you so much for listening today. We love you. Thank you. Let's share a deep breath together to close up. Aho. Have a beautiful day or evening, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you absolutely loved this episode. And if you did, please remember to leave a review and share some love. I will see you in the next one.